everyone! This week we're making the very requested part 2 of my Dungeon Meshi modern redesign video. If you haven't watched part 1, I got to design the main party while geeking out about how much I love the series and characters. It was overall a really fun video you should check out. Also, since the last video, I finished the last 3 episodes of the series, and now I have a bit more insight into all the characters, so I'm really happy to get to make a part 2 with some of the characters that I didn't get to design last time. And now, without further ado, let's get to it. Let's start the video by drawing Fallin. Fallin is an interesting character because we don't get to spend a lot of time with her, since, you know, she was eaten by a dragon in the beginning, and then some other stuff happened. Laius and his party want to save her, so she is essentially the inciting incident, and she's also the end goal of the series. But consequently, we don't get to see her in the present time a lot. What we know about her is through her relationships and how other people perceive her, especially how Laius and Marcille see her. First of all, she is incredibly sweet and caring, and she is beloved by all party members for it. But with that being said, she is also, much like her brother, kinda weird. You see, Fallin is very skilled in magic, especially ghost magic. And, as you can imagine, a little girl that speaks to ghosts is easily ostracized by her small village. So Fallin's only friend for the most time was her brother Laius. At least until she went to a magical academy where she met Marcille. At first, Marcille also thought she was kinda weird, but they quickly became friends nonetheless. Her life was overall pretty lonely, but despite having almost no friends, it's clear to me that the friends that she has care for her deeply, and because we know Fallin through the eyes of the 2 people that loved her the most, we also get to care for her as well. I think they executed it perfectly. When I was designing Fallin's modern version, I wanted her to match with her brother, so I gave her overalls as well. Although this time it's one of those overall dresses that are really cute. Because I gave her that, my mind immediately jumped to the character Wendy in The Shining and her fashion sense. I know it sounds really weird because The Shining and Delicious Dungeon have nothing in common, but I really like the winter flannel shirts, overall dress and boots combo that Wendy has going on, so I just took that and gave it to Fallin. I also drew her in a very sweet pose and with a very sweet and warm expression. She turned out really cute. Next up is Kabru. Kabru is a character that, to my understanding, was never in Laius's party or group, but he is without a doubt an important character. He has a party of his own, and he wishes, like most, to conquer the dungeon, even if he's not particularly convinced he can do it. His party is also not as experienced as Laius and his party, and they end up dying a few times before they actually make a great comeback. He is Laius's opposite. Whereas Laius knows everything about monsters and how to read them, but is terrible with people and social skills in general, Kabru is great with people. Very attentive to every detail and reading them with ease, as well as knowing exactly what to say to get the response/outcome he desires. Sometimes even doing things that he wouldn't otherwise, like eating monster food, to be seen in a more positive light by others. Kabru is notably a complex character. He also seems to have a keen interest in Laius and Fallin, though I don't think we've been told exactly why yet. I might be misremembering though, but even if we were told, I don't think it was the whole truth. To be honest, I don't trust Kabru all that much. Don't get me wrong, I like him as a character and we get some pretty fun action with him, but I feel like he's hiding something. Whether it's his true intentions or something that he knows and he's not telling us, I don't know. I noticed that he likes to keep to himself what doesn't need to necessarily be said. He works in a need-to-know basis, if you will. And that's just a trait that I don't particularly trust. When I drew him, I wanted to show that in his expression, and I think I was pretty successful. His outfit is also pretty stylish and fits him really well, so I'm proud of it as well. The only thing that bothers me is that I think I messed up the proportions. It's not too bad, maybe I feel that way because I drew him in a more realistic head-to-body ratio than normal. I don't know. Either way, I still like the way he came out. On to Izutsumi. Izutsumi is also pretty amazing. She is from an eastern country and she used to be part of Shoujo's party. Shoujo is an ex-party member of Laia's. She was also cursed to be, well, basically a cat girl. We don't know who cursed her, I don't think, and we actually don't know all that much about her backstory. The only thing we know for sure was that she was essentially adopted by Shoujo's party, but she never really felt connected to them, and eventually she joins the main party of the series, and is then essentially adopted by them as well. She seems to be having much more fun with Laius and the others. As a person with 2 cats, I can confirm she is literally what a cat would be like if it was a person. She, like a cat, is abrasive, wild, and kind of a brat, and then she slowly gets used to everyone in the party, and then she acts slightly more caring towards them. I think she cares for them, at least a little bit, but she's too proud to show it. She's especially close to Marcel. She tries to console her that one time, and when she was essentially turned into a docile cat, she was always with Marcel. And I don't know if it was on purpose, but this kinda mimics the way cats work. Because usually when you adopt a cat and there is more than one person in the family, the cat will choose one of those people as their favorites and then they'll want to spend the most time with that person. I think it's pretty neat if it was on purpose. Izutsumi is a picky eater. She only eats what she wants, so as you can imagine, cooking dungeon food becomes a little more difficult for Laius and Senshi. If you thought Marcel was a picky eater, no, Izutsumi is a picky eater. And it'd be really easy for Senshi to not care all that much about it and just cook whatever, but I feel like it speaks a lot to Senshi's character that he just met this kid. The kid isn't all that pleasant, and he still takes the time to try and figure out what she would like to eat. I just love the new group dynamic. And finally, we have Thistle. What can I say about Thistle that isn't a spoiler? Well, to be fair, we don't actually know all that much about him. We know that he's really old, since we know that he was around when the kingdom was still around. He definitely dabbles in ancient forbidden magic, and he has a strong connection with the Red Dragon. I hope this isn't too much of a spoiler, but we think he's the Mad Mage. It's pretty safe to assume he is. Although I feel like if he is, maybe he was revealed a little bit too soon. Or at least his backstory was. We know he's supposed to be evil, and we have some scenes where he's genuinely scary, but at the very end of the series there is this small moment he shares with the Chimera that made me raise an eyebrow. I don't know, I feel like he might not be as evil as we're led to believe. I think there's more to him. Unfortunately, since I'm an anime-only fan, at least for now, I might pick up the manga eventually, I don't know a lot about Thistle. I am, however, very curious about him. When I was designing his modern counterpart, I knew I wanted to give him a dress and jeans, and I'm only mentioning this because I feel like if I don't, I'll be called out for it, so... Elves present typically more feminine than other races, regardless of the gender of the person. Also, when you see him for the first time, Thistle is often mistaken by the audience as a girl. Some of Thistle's outfits in the manga basically have a skirt incorporated, and honestly, it just felt right in my mind to dress him like that. And to be fair, gender roles are just a social construct anyway, so why should we care if a guy wears a skirt? I also gave him a bag so he can carry the book he always has much more easily, and it's also a pretty fashionable accessory. I'm really proud of how he came out. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked the video. If you wanna see more stuff from me, I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at momopurin_chan and on Kara at momopurin. Thank you so much, and until next time,